Hello, everyone. People often say change is hard, like it's some mountain too steep to climb or a storm too wild to weather. But I say, child, the storm came to pass, not to stay. And just like the river don't stop running, neither should you. Now listen, this world will whisper all kinds of things into your ear. It'll say you're too old, too tired, too far gone, but I want you to remember this. You are not done. You are not dust. You are a living, breathing possibility. You have breath in your body and dreams yet to be caught. And there's power in that, Lord. There's power in that. Discomfort is the birthplace of transformation. You may not like how that sounds, but truth has never been concerned with comfort. Growth doesn't happen in still waters. It comes when the ground beneath you shifts, when the air turns cold and the path ahead stops looking familiar. Discomfort is not the enemy, it is the invitation. The soul does not stretch in a soft chair, it stretches when you are pressed, when life says move and you don't feel ready. That's the sacred beginning. We're taught to run from pain, to soothe it, to avoid anything that unsettles the heart. But listen here, if you want to change, if you want to shift your behavior and rise into the person you were meant to be, you've got to get comfortable. You've got to lean into the ache, that restless feeling, that tension in your chest. That's not punishment. It's a signal. It's your spirit knocking, saying something better is waiting, but you can't reach it standing still. Every change starts in a place that feels unfamiliar. You will question yourself. You'll wonder if it's worth the struggle. You'll miss the ease of old habits, like a bad love you know is no good, but feels so easy to fall back into. But let me tell you this, comfort will keep you quiet, keep you small, keep you repeating the same stories about who you are and what you can't do. Discomfort will introduce you to the truth. Discomfort will strip away the noise and show you the core of your wanting. And it ain't always dramatic. Sometimes discomfort is a whisper. It's waking up tired of your own excuses. It's hearing your inner voice say, not this again. When you choose fear over courage for the 100th time, it's catching yourself in a pattern, feeling the shame rise up and deciding just once to do something different. That's where it begins. Not in grand declarations, but in those small, holy moments where you break the cycle by saying no more or not today. You've got to learn how to sit with it. Don't numb it. Don't rush to fix it. Just sit. Feel the stretch. That tension is what molds new strength. That friction, that's the rub that sharpens your edge. If it's hard, good, that means you're right where you need to be. You're not just repeating, you're rewriting. Now, I know you may stumble, you may try to change and feel like you're failing, but remember this, falling is part of the becoming. Every time you fall, you're falling forward. Every time you return to your intention, even after messing up, you're choosing the path again. And that's where real change happens, in the return. The ones who change their lives aren't the ones who never slip. They're the ones who refuse to stay down. They listen to the discomfort. They use it. They let it teach them what they need to release and who they need to become. When it burns, they don't run. They let the fire refine them. And slowly they rise, different, stronger, clearer. It's not about being fearless. It's about being faithful. Faithful to your better self. Faithful enough to sit in the growing pains without turning back. Every time you resist the urge to quit, every time you show up despite the doubt, every time you dare to believe that change is possible, you're already changing. So if you feel uneasy, good. That means something inside you is awakening. That means you're alive. That means you've outgrown what used to fit. You're standing at the edge of something sacred. And yes, it's uncomfortable, but don't you dare retreat. Don't shrink, don't silence that inner nudge. That ache you feel is purpose pulling at you. Let it pull, let it shape you, let it lead you somewhere new. Because what's waiting for you on the other side of discomfort isn't just a better habit, it's a better you. You don't need permission to begin again. Not from them, not from the world, not even from the version of yourself that didn't know better yesterday. If you woke up today feeling the weight of regret, the sting of a misstep, or the ache of not being where you hoped, you're still allowed to start fresh. That's the miracle of being human. You can choose again. You can rise again. You can begin again. As many times as you need to. We live in a world that tells us we have to get it right the first time. That once you've made a mistake, it defines you. But hear me clearly. Your past may explain you, but it does not excuse you from the future you still deserve. One wrong turn does not mean you're lost forever. One chapter doesn't tell the whole story. You are still writing. Your pen hasn't run dry. There is power in the pivot. There is grace in the return. You're not locked in the room of who you used to be. You're free to walk out at any moment. The door is open. You just have to stop asking for someone else to say it's okay. It's okay. It's more than okay. It's necessary. You are not meant to live your whole life stuck in the shadow of a decision that no longer serves you. And let's be honest, sometimes we stay where we are not because we want to, but because we're scared of what it would mean to try again. Scared of judgment, scared of failure, scared that the world is watching and keeping score. But child, the world is far too busy chasing its own healing to track your stumbles. And even if they were watching, so what? They don't know what it took for you to still be here. They don't know the battles you fight in silence. They don't carry your name or your purpose. So begin again, even if your voice shakes. Begin again without waiting for perfect conditions or applause. The start is sacred because it says, I still believe in more. It says, I refuse to give up on myself. It says, I am not finished. You may have broken promises to yourself before. You may have quit on day 3. You may have let old habits sneak back in the door you swore you closed for good. That's all right. You are not weak. You are learning. And learning isn't a straight line. It's messy. It's humbling. It's full of moments where you have to forgive yourself in order to move forward. That forgiveness, that's your permission slip. And don't confuse delay with denial. Just because it's taking you longer doesn't mean you're not worthy of change. Just because it's hard doesn't mean it's not yours to claim. You're still in the fight. You're still breathing. That means the door is still open. Walk through it. Change doesn't ask if you're ready. It asks if you're willing to show up anyway, willing to try again with a little more wisdom, a little more love, a little more patience, willing to believe that this time might be different because you're different now. This isn't about shame. This isn't about fixing something broken. You are not broken. You are becoming. And becoming asks you to shed what no longer fits, not out of guilt, but out of growth. What used to serve you may now be holding you back. And that's all right. That's just life calling you higher. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to choose. So breathe. Look yourself in the mirror, not with judgment, but with gentle truth. Tell yourself, I can begin again. I deserve to begin again. And this time I will move with intention, not perfection, because this moment is yours. Not yesterday, not someday, this moment, right now. Take it. Small steps shape mighty change. That's the quiet truth most people overlook while they're chasing something loud. We think change has to come with thunder, with fireworks, with grand declarations that say, I'm different now. But life doesn't work like that. You don't climb mountains in one leap. You take one step, then another, and then another, sometimes slipping, sometimes crawling, but always forward. We are so quick to dismiss the little things. We look at tiny choices and tell ourselves they don't matter. Skipping the workout just this once, snapping at someone because we're tired, ignoring the voice inside that says do better. But listen, every choice you make is casting a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. Every small step is a brick in the foundation of your future, and it's those daily, unglamorous, often invisible choices that end up building a life you can be proud of. You want to change your behavior? Start by lowering the bar. Yes, you heard me, lower the bar. Not your standards, not your worth, but the pressure that says you have to overhaul your entire life in one breath. Start where you are. Drink a glass of water when your body asks. Speak softly to yourself when you feel like quitting. Clean one corner of your space. Say no when something drains you. Say yes when something heals you. These are not small things. These are sacred steps. We are so conditioned to measure progress by how much we can show others. But real progress is often invisible. It's saying no to the pattern that once ruled you. It's pausing before reacting. It's trying again after failing 5 times. It's not sexy. It's not viral, but it's real. Don't underestimate the power of repetition. Change lives in the practice, not the performance. It's brushing your teeth even when you're tired. It's choosing not to respond to chaos with more chaos. It's waking up and deciding to try again no matter how many times you've tried before. That's how you become someone different, by doing different things even when no one's watching. Let me tell you, the people you admire, the ones who seem strong, steady, full of purpose, they didn't wake up that way. They built it. One small act of courage at a time, one boundary, one breath, one better choice. That's the recipe. There's no magic, only movement. And don't rush it. You don't plant a seed today and expect a tree tomorrow. You water it, you give it light, you trust the roots are growing even when you can't see them. The same goes for you. Just because the fruit hasn't come doesn't mean the change isn't happening. You are becoming long before it's visible. Keep going. You may not feel proud of everything behind you, but you can still be proud of the step you take next. You don't need to be perfect, only persistent. There is no shame in slow progress. There is only shame in refusing to start because you think small steps don't matter. They do. They always do. So walk, even if it's slow, even if it's shaky, even if you feel like you're dragging yourself across the floor some days. Crawl if you must. Just keep moving. Because the small steps you take today are the reasons you will stand tall tomorrow. Not because they're flashy, not because they're big, but because they're yours. Chosen, earned, repeated. That's how you rewrite your story. That's how behavior changes. That's how you go from who you were to who you are becoming, not in a rush, not in a roar, but in a rhythm. Keep stepping. What you repeat, you become. It's simple, but it holds the weight of everything. The way you speak to yourself, the habits you hold, the thoughts you feed, those are the things shaping your life when no one is looking. You're not just acting, you're rehearsing, and every time you repeat something, you carve it deeper into your spirit. So ask yourself, what am I rehearsing? What story am I telling over and over with my words, with my choices, with my silence? Change doesn't begin with a dramatic transformation. It begins with one repeated truth. One action you keep showing up for. The moment you stop waiting to feel ready and start living like you're already worth the effort. It's not about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about practicing who you are becoming until that version of you feels like home. You might not even realize how many things you're practicing unconsciously. Maybe you've been repeating a story that says you're not disciplined, that you always quit, that you'll never get it right. But just because you've said it before doesn't mean it has to be true tomorrow. You can change the script. You can choose a new line and speak it until it sticks. I am learning, I am growing, I am capable of change. Say it again. Then live like it's true. That's where the shift begins. It's in the repetition. Every morning you wake up and choose to do one thing aligned with who you want to be. That's power. That's becoming. Even when it doesn't feel like much, Even when you don't see the results yet. You don't become different in a moment. You become different through rhythm, through devotion, through the sacred act of showing up again and again. You want to change your behavior? Then you have to create new patterns. You have to break the ones that held you hostage and replace them with ones that build you up. And at first, it's going to feel strange, like wearing shoes that don't quite fit, like saying words you're not sure you believe. But keep going, keep saying them, keep choosing them, because repetition is how belief is born. Think about how a path is made in the grass, not from one person walking across it once, but from many feet, many days, same direction. That's how it works with you too. New behavior isn't about pressure, it's about consistency. Don't wait for inspiration. Build a rhythm that moves without it. Make discipline your default, not your punishment. And it doesn't have to be heavy. It doesn't have to be harsh. Start small. Choose one thing you want to repeat. A new word, a healthier thought, a better habit. Maybe it's just breathing before you react. Maybe it's 5 minutes of silence before the chaos. Whatever it is, honor it. Repeat it. Let it become part of your root system. Because what you practice, you perfect, not overnight, not in a week, but in time. What you say to yourself quietly becomes your loudest belief. What you do without thinking becomes your character. So make sure what you repeat is in alignment with who you want to be, not just who you've always been. And yes, you'll mess up. You'll fall into old ways. That doesn't mean you failed. It just means you're human. So what do? You return. You start again. You say the words again. You take the step again. You repeat the truth until it gets louder than the lie. Because repetition isn't just how we change, it's how we remember. We remember who we are. We remember what we're worth. We remember that we are not our past. We are our patterns, yes, but patterns can be rewritten, repeated, reinforced, one breath, one choice, one day at a time. So choose carefully, choose with love, and then choose again. Keep becoming. Speak to yourself like you matter, because you do. That's not a suggestion. That's a necessity. You cannot build a life of wholeness with the language of shame. You cannot grow strong while tearing yourself down in the quiet. Change doesn't just happen in your behavior. It begins in your voice. The one no one hears but you, and the way you talk to yourself in the stillness, in the mirror, in the middle of the mess. That's where the true shift starts. You've been told to be humble, you've been taught not to brag, but somewhere along the way, too many of us turned humility into self-neglect. We started mistaking silence for strength and self-criticism for motivation. Let me tell you something. There is nothing noble about calling yourself names. There is nothing strong about carrying your shame like a badge. If you want to change your behavior, you must first change the way you speak over your own life, because your words are seeds, and your mind, that's the soil. What you plant grows. You keep telling yourself you're lazy, you'll start believing it. You keep calling yourself broken, you'll stop reaching for healing. But if you start saying, I'm learning, you'll start growing. If you whisper, I'm worthy, something sacred begins to rise in you. Don't just change what you do, change what you say. You are not your mistakes. You are not your bad habits. You are not the moments when you didn't show up as your best self. You are a human being, complex, growing, worthy of grace. Speak to yourself like you know that. Like you know you're someone who deserves kindness, even from your own voice, especially from your own voice. And I know it's not easy. Maybe you grew up hearing harsh words. Maybe the world has fed you lies about your value and you swallow them just to survive. But survival is not the same as living. And now if you want to live fully, if you want to rise and stay risen, you must unlearn those lies. You must rewrite the script. And that starts with your language. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to stand in front of a crowd and declare your greatness. But in the moments when you feel small, you need to know how to speak life to your own soul. In the mornings when it's hard to move, you need to know how to say, I'm proud of you for trying. In the moments when you fall short, you need to say, this doesn't define me. That's how change takes root, not in punishment, but in when a child is learning to walk, we don't yell at them when they fall. We cheer for the effort. We hold out our hands and say, try again. Why can't you offer yourself that same tenderness? Why do you think you deserve less love just because you're grown? Growth is still fragile. It still needs soft soil and warm words. The truth is, you can't bully yourself into a better life. You can't shame yourself into wholeness, but you can speak to yourself in a way that encourages movement. You can remind yourself daily that change is possible. You can create a new internal rhythm where the default voice is not doubt, but hope. Because that voice, it follows you everywhere. It's there when you start the new habit. It's there when you stumble. It's there when no one's watching and you're deciding whether to give up or keep going. And if that voice is cruel, you will struggle to rise. But if that voice is kind, if it's patient and firm and rooted in love, then you will move with power. So listen to yourself. And when the voice is harsh, challenge it. When it's doubtful, answer it. When it says you can't, respond with, watch me. You don't need to be perfect to deserve kindness. You just need to be real. Be real and be kind over and over until your inner voice becomes a place of safety, not war. That's where change lives, in how you talk to yourself when things get hard. Let your words become your wings. You don't need to feel ready to begin. That's the lie we've all been sold. The one that says motivation must strike like lightning, that you must wait for the right time, the perfect mood, the stars to align before you take that first step. But the truth is readiness is a feeling that shows up after the action, not before it. Waiting to feel ready is how dreams get delayed and lives get smaller. If you keep waiting for the day you feel like changing, you'll be waiting forever. Because feelings are fickle. They rise and fall like tides. They shift with your sleep, your mood, your hormones, the weather. But change? Real change isn't built on how you feel in a moment. It's built on a decision. A quiet decision that says, even if I don't feel ready, I'll begin anyway. You may not feel brave when you take that first step. You may not feel clear. You may not even feel confident. But your feet can move while your heart is trembling. And you will be surprised how strong you are once you stop waiting for certainty and start walking in faith. Action births confidence. Movement creates momentum. The readiness you seek isn't hiding in the distance. It's waiting for you on the other side of motion. You have to learn to move without permission from your emotions. That doesn't mean ignoring how you feel. It means not letting your feelings be the gatekeepers of your progress. You can honor your fear and still do the thing. You can acknowledge your doubt and still take the step. It's not about pretending to be fearless. It's about doing the work while fear rides in the back seat, but not the driver's seat. You've done hard things before. You've stepped into the unknown before. Maybe you didn't feel ready then either, but you made it. You adjusted. You found strength you didn't know you had. That's proof. That's your reminder that readiness is not a prerequisite. It's a reward. Change is a decision, not a feeling. It starts with a choice to move forward while your hands still shake, to show up on the days you'd rather disappear, to take the first small step knowing it might not be perfect, but it will be something. And that something, that's the beginning of everything. We've been taught that motivation is the spark that lights the fire. But sometimes the fire starts with discipline. Sometimes you strike the match with trembling fingers and trust that the flame will come. You lace up your shoes and take the walk. You open the book and read the first page. You put the phone down and breathe. These aren't grand moves, but they matter. They're signals. They're signs to your own spirit that say, I'm ready to become. Not because you feel like it, but because you're worth it. Because the version of you that you want to become is waiting, not for perfect timing, not for loud confidence, but for this moment, right now. This moment is enough. You are enough. And even if the change feels distant, the decision is near. It's right here in your hands. And yes, it will feel awkward at first, uncertain, unnatural. That's okay. All beginnings do. Every masterpiece once looked like a mess in the middle. Every confident person was once uncertain. Every habit started as an inconvenience. You will not always feel like changing, but you can still act like someone who is changing. That's how transformation begins, by moving before you're ready and trusting that readiness will meet you along the way. You don't need more motivation, you need more motion. Let the action lead the feeling, let the doing shape the becoming. And when the doubts whisper, you're not ready, whisper back, but I'm starting anyway. Because the truth is, readiness is not the requirement, willingness is. And you, even with your nerves and your questions and your trembling hands, you are more than willing, you are already becoming. Keep going, be patient with the becoming. That's what most folks forget when they talk about change. They want it to be quick, clean, convenient. They want to wake up one morning with new habits stitched in like second skin and old behaviors gone like they never existed. But baby, transformation doesn't work that way. Becoming is a process, not a moment. It's not a switch you flip. It's a slow burning light that learns to glow steadier every day you decide to keep walking. You have to give yourself time to become someone new, time to unlearn, time to unravel the old stories you've lived by for years, and none of that happens overnight. This is the deep work, the kind that doesn't always show up on the outside, but rewrites everything on the inside. So let go of the need to rush. Let go of the lie that says you're falling behind just because your growth isn't loud or fast. Real change is quiet. It's layered. It takes root in silence before it ever blooms in public. This isn't a race. It's a return to your truest self, and that journey is sacred. It needs space, it needs softness. You don't pull a flower from the earth and shout at it to grow faster. You water it, you protect it, you let the sun do its work. Do the same for yourself. Because no matter how long it takes, every small effort is working, even when it feels invisible. You might have days when you slide back into old ways. That doesn't mean you've failed. That doesn't erase the progress you've made. Change isn't linear. It's full of detours and dips, and every step back is a chance to practice grace. Growth doesn't mean you never fall. It means you know how to rise, kind of this time. More aware, more equipped. Some people will not understand the pace of your becoming. That's all right. They don't have to. You're not here to meet their timeline. You're here to meet yourself. Over and over, to show up for your healing, to choose your peace, to build a life rooted in truth, not urgency. You're not behind, you're becoming. And that's a powerful thing. There will be moments when you wonder if anything's changing, when the results feel slow and the work feels endless, but keep going. The shift is happening. Every time you choose to pause instead of react, every time you notice the trigger before it takes hold, every time you speak to yourself with compassion instead of criticism. These are the quiet victories that shape who you're becoming. These are the moments that matter, and you don't need to have it all figured out to be on the right path. You just need to stay faithful to the small, deliberate choices that align with who you want to be. Trust that the process is working, even when it moves at the pace of a whisper. Trust that the foundation you're laying now will hold you up when the storms come, because they will come, but you will not be the same. You will be rooted, not because you rushed, but because you stayed, because you waited and worked and gave yourself the grace to be messy while you transformed. That's the kind of strength that lasts, the kind built in silence, the kind born from patience. So don't measure your progress by how far you still have to go. Measure it by how much closer you are than yesterday. Measure it by your willingness to keep showing up. That's the true proof of change, not perfection, but presence. Keep being present with yourself. Keep watering what you planted. The bloom will come. And when it does, it will not be because you pushed yourself harder. It will be because you loved yourself through the becoming. That's what makes the difference. Let yourself unfold. So here you are, standing in the light of your own becoming, not perfect, not finished, but beautifully in motion. You've heard the truth that change is not a thunderclap, but a soft and steady rhythm. It's in the small steps, the kind words, the silent victories. It's in choosing yourself again and again, even when no one else sees. It's not about waiting for the right time. It's about deciding that now is enough. You are enough. May you walk forward with grace. May you speak life to your reflection. May you let go of the need to rush and trust the quiet power of your own pace. Every breath, every choice, every moment of patience is building something sacred in you. Don't stop now, keep becoming. Thank you for listening, for leaning in, for choosing the path of growth even when it's hard. I believe in the strength you carry and the beauty of what you're creating within. May your journey forward be kind, bold, and true. Good luck. And above all, thank you.